Martial artists should never lift weights. Wait, what? Yeah, that's not right. But you hear it all the time, right? You hear all these coaches and sifus and senseis out there saying, don't lift weights, it's gonna make you muscle bound and slow. You know, the bigger dog in the fight doesn't always win. It's, you know, the one with the better technique and the bigger heart. Well, okay, yes, but no. It's a bigger piece of the puzzle than you think. All we're talking about is using an external load, external resistance, as a means to enhance your physical attributes. There is a skill to it. There are, you know, mental pieces of the game that you have to kind of get in line, how to program the training so that it is beneficial to your practice. I mean, we're not talking about doing loads and loads of concentration curls, right? We're not talking about doing partial reps and getting a pump. What we're talking about is athletic movements moved against load. I mean, maybe not the best example, but you know, look at sports like the Highland Games and strongman training. These guys aren't, you know, the majority of them aren't, you know, jacked bodybuilder types. I mean, they're big guys because their sport is strength sport. It's not martial arts. But the fact is that they are moving massive amounts of weight for time, you know, over distance and speed. These are very important athletic attributes. If you can throw something really well, do you think that that can translate into punching power? If you can clean and jerk, you know, Olympic style lifting, do you think that can translate into striking power, movement capability, speed and reaction training, stability training? Absolutely. But these are skills you have to learn. You can't just, you know, go and rip a barbell off the floor and expect to be okay. You have to program it, you have to periodize it, you have to make sure that your nutrition and sleep are in line and all that, and that's fine. But the fact is that you can't really ignore external load. It's just a piece of the puzzle. Now, I'm a huge fan of calisthenics, body weight exercise, gymnastic training. I'm a huge fan of that stuff, but we're not gymnasts, and you know, we're not the bar stars, we're not these other athletes. We are martial artists. We are taking these other pieces to enhance our martial arts ability. For the martial artist, where that is the centerpiece of your life, everything has to filter back into that, because that's our world, right? We want to be able to move better against an opponent. We want to be able to move better throughout the environment that we may struggle in. We want to be able to throw effective strikes. We want to be able to have effective footwork. We want to be able to effectively, you know, resist or pursue a grapple. We want to be able to lock and maintain that lock, you know, through to its end. We want to be able to do all those things. And if you think for a second that being stronger will not help that, you're deluding yourself. And the fact is, if there's enough of a strength difference between two competitors, the stronger one usually wins. Unless the technique difference is also in favor of the smaller guy. You know, I mean, there's more than one piece of the puzzle there, right? But you have to be strong. You have to be fast. You can't get away with being frail and weak and relying on technique alone. I mean, to a point, yeah, but why would you want that? Why would you want to be frail and weak? Why would you want to not be, you know, healthy and powerful, right? I mean, how many times do we see these really, really just awful, out of shape martial arts instructors who put on a good show, but when push comes to shove, they can't defend themselves because somebody who's got better conditioning comes along, challenges them to a fight and knocks them out. It happens. You know, I mean, we don't live in the world of public duels and stuff anymore, but the stuff still does happen. And the best instructors are the ones out there getting their hands dirty, getting into other disciplines and cross-disciplining. These are important things to do. So understand that you need physical attribute training. Now, if you really just prefer bodyweight exercise, that's fine. You can get really, really good. Human potential does require expert load to kind of be, or exterior load to be fulfilled, maximally. But you can get pretty far on body weight alone. You can get pretty far. I would say, and maybe I'm wrong, but I would say probably 75%, 80% of the way there on body weight alone. Especially for the upper body, you get a pair of gymnastic rings, and your upper body training is set between your martial arts and floor work and ring work. Say no more. Upper body training is more than sufficient. Lower body training, our lower bodies are workhorses. You kind of need the external load. I mean, do you necessarily have to deadlift and squat? In some variation or another, you should be doing pulls and squats of sorts to work your posterior chain. You don't necessarily have to do the one specific exercise. There's a big range of things that you're going to have to consider. Mobility issues, previous injuries, just natural body structure. If you have T-Rex arms, if you have orangutan arms, it's going to change how you load things. But this is where getting together with coaches comes in, and doing your research comes in, and experimenting comes in. But it's not a reason to not lift. It's not a reason to not use external resistance. We need external resistance to grow. It's just a fact of life. Stress and resistance that we overcome and successfully rest and recover through, of course, lead to us growing more. So yeah, maybe you don't go and become a bodybuilder. Maybe you don't go and become a professional powerlifter or a professional Olympic lifter. I'm certainly not suggesting you go and become a CrossFit athlete. All I'm saying is that you need to start investigating how to train your attributes up. If you have questions, ask me. I'll help. This is stuff that I have spent the last decade studying. And if I don't know an answer, that I will point you in a direction that I think will be resourceful to you. But the fact is, you can't ignore weight training. You can't ignore external load. You can't ignore building your strength and speed, your power and agility, because martial arts technique is simply not enough. You have to have enough strength and structure to be able to pull the moves off. If you cannot physically perform the move, obviously it's not going to work. That's all I got for you. I'll talk to you guys later. Good journey.